What's going on, Nerd Nation? Welcome back to Comic Book Nerd Nation, episode number 38 this week. Another small crew this week. Got myself, I'm Fox 2, and today I'm here with Pirate.
Hey, guys.
Okay, so we're going to jump right in. First of all, as we're recording this, wishing a happy birthday to Topher. So, happy birthday, however old you are. I have no idea. But let's jump right in. Pirate, you said you did not get a chance to read anything this week, correct?
Yeah, no, I didn't really read too much this week. I had other stuff going on, so.
That's okay. I read a couple of things. First and foremost, I read Brightest Day, Green Lantern Brightest Day by Jeff Johns. Another amazing book. Great follow-up to the Blackest Night leading into the Wrath of the First Lantern. It really ties it in. It gives you a good feel for the character Krona, which I have a gut feeling we're going to be seeing him in a big tie-in here soon. We'll just have to wait and see how that plays out. But
what makes you think that? Just curious.
Do what?
What makes you think that? Just curious.
Well, there's a big crossover event in the Green Lantern universe that they've talked about all of the lanterns. Excuse me. All the lantern titles are going to be included in this, which is something at that point almost of the caliber of like a Blackest Night potentially. And in Justice League 33, I believe, there was mention of Krona in that as well. So, sorry. Let me a little drink here real quick. Must be parched. I don't know. But anyway, so I read that. I also read the new Hulk book, which is really good. I'm really enjoying the Hulk. He's starting his quest to destroy other gamma radiated beings.
Now this is the one that started off with him pretty much like a zombie.
No.
Okay.
They rebooted again. Well, wait a minute. Did this one start? See, even I'm getting a little bit confused with it because they've been
throwing a lot of Hawk titles lately.
Yes, that's correct.
I
but it does tie into that. If it wasn't that one, I can't remember for sure if it was that one, if it's that one, or if it's tied into that one. But now that you say it, I think it. Okay, he got shot in the back of the head at the end of the last run, and into this run it spilled in and still continued. I believe is how it worked. But the premise is that Tony Stark's Extremis, which are like a nanobot type of technology, were used to save his life and help repair his brain. But in using those, it basically gave him so much mental control as the Hulk that he doesn't turn back into Bruce Banner right now. So he's like a genius and the Hulk at the same time.
So the Hulk has control of
essentially
when it goes, not Bruce Banner.
It's like Bruce Banner's brain times 2 with the Hulk. So it's really kind of an interesting take. I'm enjoying it.
Does he speak normally, or does he still like talk like the Hulk, like when he's hulked out?
No, he talks like Bruce Banner times 2. Okay. Like super intelligent, like straight
real
up
articulate, not like Hulk smash.
Yeah. No, it's extremely articulate, extremely knowledgeable. It's a really neat take on the character, but where he's at now is he's decided that he needs to rid the world of other gamma radiated beings, and the first one he's going after is Rick Jones, which is A-Bomb.
Abomination.
No, it's not Abomination. It's A-Bomb. Okay. The blue guy. So it should be interesting. I'm really looking forward to continuing the reading of this one. And then Batman Eternal. Again, just keeping up with that. It's really good. I'm enjoying it. But yeah, other than that, let's get into the bulk of this podcast, which is going to be news related kind of stuff. First of all, let's talk a little bit about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I haven't seen it yet. Pirate has seen it, and the reason that I really want to talk about it, we won't give away a ton of spoilers. I'm sure that there'll probably be a couple spoilers here and there, but if you don't like spoilers and you haven't seen Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, just fast forward like 15
If you
minutes
don't
or
like
something.
spoilers, you probably don't listen to our show.
That's a
'cause we
very,
throw it out
very
a
good
lot.
point.
You know what I mean? Like,
We do spoil a lot of shit, but
I suck at trying to like be subtle about movies and descriptions, and I get pissed. People get pissed at me all the time. I'm like, it's a story. Like it's the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah.
God damn, dude.
yeah.
Whatever. Like, fuck it. Go watch it sooner then.
Well, the reason
we don't have this problem.
the reason I want to kind of talk about it at least a little bit, and I'm kind of intrigued because I haven't seen it and I've got some questions, is it did a lot better at the box office than a lot of people were saying it was going to do. I mean, I think it did like close to 50 million on the first weekend, which is
that sounds about right. I mean, there's no Guardians of the Galaxy, but I mean,
no, but
compared to Michael Bay's last movie that debuted, Transformers 4: Age of Extinction, and
that's what I'm saying is like that movie. There was a lot of hate going around for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles before it even came close to hitting theaters.
Yeah.
So
I know that I felt like a lot of times that like I think it was all the way up until the second preview I seen that they released, the one like about a month ago. I mean, not even a month ago, but it was up until that preview that I was like, I thought my childhood was being raped up until then. I was like, this is horrible. They look stupid. They look like Quasimodo from The Hunchback of Notre Dame. You know what I mean? Like in the face.
Yeah, with the nostrils and stuff.
Especially when it showed the real close up of Michelangelo. But then once it showed that last preview, like right up before launch, it was actually I wanted to see it. Maybe it was just more in-depth interaction of them. But I was like, fuck it, yeah, I kind of do want to see this now.
So that being said, knowing that all of us were pretty much like, this is going to be terrible. This is this isn't Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Like whatever it is, it's not the Turtles we grew up with. What did you think? Out of 10, how would you score the film? How was it?
See, I don't even know if I want to score it. Like, just because I've seen it twice, okay? And the only reason I've seen it the second time was because I was so confused about a few things the first time that I had to rewatch it. So, went ahead, went back out, watched it. It wasn't. It felt kind of like I liked the movie. I liked the Turtles. Okay, I got past how they looked. That part didn't bother me. The Turtles I thought were great. The way that they were much more unique as far as like their individual personalities were shown more than just colors and voices. Like they, visually looked, different. Like Donatello especially, kind of looked like a Ghostbuster. Donatello, you could tell like without even seeing the purple, rag that who he was. Raphael had like this more distinctness to him. The masks in general, like they all had. It wasn't just like a strip across the eyes. Raphael had more like a bandana. Michelangelo, they all had like Chinese scripture, like on their masks, which in different spots, and that was different. The stuff that they carried on them was different. Michelangelo had the sewer skate board. Remember the?
Oh, nice! They incorporated that in.
Yeah, but it wasn't like the fan, like the swamp fan on the back or nothing like that. But yeah, that was incorporated in there. That's a little thing he's got on his back. He like throws it, and, sheds out. The things that I didn't like Splinter. Splinter looked like a fucking dog with a Fu Manchu. I didn't like the development story of how they became how they became the Turtles. I didn't mind, but how they became the ninjas, I didn't like.
Okay.
Like basically, April O'Neil names them. Her father created them pretty much in a lab experiment with his partner who works for Shredder.
Which is already pretty far off base from what, the comic books and the cartoon and the old movies and
right.
Everything.
Was no, what was the Splinter's Masters? Hiroko-san,
Oh,
was it
I
Hiroko-san?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was Hiroko-san. He was not in it. Shredder, his face, fully face. I don't think it really showed his full face at all ever. Um, the like I said, the turtles were developed, created in a lab, which made a little more sense than toxic waste being just dropped into a sewer and then a couple turtles and a rat happened to crawl across it. So I like that it was a little bit more of a realistic spin, if loose term as far as realistic goes, but a little bit more. Um, they but that April O'Neil was playing as a young child, like 10 or 11 years old, in the lab, names them, feeds them pizza, and then when her father realizes what's going on, working for the shredder, this and that, burning the place down, tries to get rid of everything, she grabs them all and Splinter, takes them to the sewer. Splinter happens to come across some books on ninjutsu in the sewer, teaches himself ninjutsu, and then teaches the turtles.
That's
So
man.
that's where it
That's
breaks
like
up.
saying that they did some YouTube training or something. That's not.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Like they're not MMA fighters via YouTube.
That's
But
yeah. That hurts. That definitely
yeah.
hurts the story. I think.
So I did not like that. And then another thing I did not like, and this is one of those things where okay, everybody in the film doesn't want to make movies like Michael Bay, but they can't make the money like Michael Bay. So I think because his like the Bayhem trademark sounds was in this, where everything is just super bassy, like you know what I mean? Like
Oh yeah.
it's like a dubstep song where there's like wobble basses on everything and over the top special effects. Like Shredder, I
Yeah.
mean, we did talk shit about him looking like Megatron, and it was for good reason because he kind of was
Did he
like
sound like
Megatron.
Megatron?
Yeah, he sounded like it. I mean, just shit like
Uh,
the metal. It was just the sounds, and then the Bayhem like 360 roto camera angles, like spinning up on stuff.
yeah.
It it was shot. I mean, it really had a Transformers feel to it, especially in the sound. Which in Transformers I liked it, but in this one I thought it was like it just seems like it just seemed too similar.
Yeah.
I
Now,
mean,
would you recommend? The bottom line is, would you recommend somebody go see this movie if they have not yet seen it and they're on the fence and they don't know whether or not it's
um,
worth it? What would you say?
yeah. I mean, like I said, I've seen it twice, so I would definitely say seeing it once is good. But I think the people who grew up, watching Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, or even reading Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles when it was, that was a little bit before my time as far as comic book reading. It was what, 85, but I mean, I'm an 80s child. I was born in 80, so I was 8 or 9 when the toys and cartoon launched.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was the hype for me, but I think that you might be kind of disappointed. There is a lot of chance that there's definitely going to be a sequel. I mean, they've already announced that.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
And the way it ends, I mean, it's definitely, going to be kind of the same thing, but I think there's a lot of room for some of the other characters. Just with
I'd
the
like to
whole
see a Casey Jones or something.
Casey Jones would be an easy one, but I heard that was it Baxter? They mentioned his name. What the fly guy?
Yeah, Baxter something. I can't remember their names. I remember exactly what they look like
Purple
on
fly in the cartoon,
on the cartoon
actually.
characters. Yeah. What about Bebop and Rocksteady?
Bebop and Rocksteady, they could. I hope they have them, but I hope they don't fuck them up like they did when they kind of replaced them with Tokar and Razor in the second one.
Yeah, that was bad.
Bebop and Rocksteady would be good, but I think there's more. What was the hair?
Oh God,
The samurai that was the
I
hair.
don't even remember.
Oh man, I mean, there were so many different animals that they experimented this stuff on. There's a good chance that they could slip
That
them in there.
we could see some more. That would be cool.
Yeah, I mean, so they left it kind of wide in that area with the whole lab. They showed other animals, I think, in a few scenes, but they didn't really show like them getting their powers or them being like exceptionally different.
Oh, I see.
But yeah, I liked it. I mean, I think that I liked it better than Transformers 4,
There you go.
Age of Extinction, but I
All right.
didn't.
Well,
I don't know.
there you have it, guys. If you're a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle fan and you're on the fence, go see it and let us know what you think in the comment section below if you have seen it. I haven't seen it yet. Just based on this, I think I might try and check it out. We got a lot of, not a ton, but a fair amount of interesting news to talk about today. First of which is the Gotham TV show that's coming up. It's been, I don't know if it's been announced or how someone figured it out, but basically there's a comedian that's going to be working for Fish Mooney, a stand-up comedian in the show.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people are putting two and two together and saying this could be a Joker figure, just like we saw out of Alan Moore's Killing Joke.
Red Hood.
You know,
that's what I'm thinking.
You think that you think this could be?
I'm thinking they're not gonna go the route of the Joker, and they're gonna go the Red Hood.
Right, but I mean that's even if they do, okay, say they do Red Hood and they somehow allude to the fact that that's Red Hood, that's basically pulling it right out of Killing Joke and saying, like, you know what, this is the origin of the Joker.
It's no, there's not been done. It's other than that show, or other than the Killing Joke, it's not been done. Well,
1989 Batman.
Red Hood wasn't in it.
No, but well, I'm saying like it was a quote unquote origin.
No, but I'm not talking about the origin.
Oh, you mean the Red Hood hasn't been done?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And how many people outside of people who have read Batman comics, and not even really like continuity comics, like I'm talking like the one shots, like you said, like Killing Joke. How many people would actually know that Red Hood or that Joker was the Red Hood? He was the first Red Hood.
Not very many.
Exactly.
Almost none, unless you're a Batman fan or a comic, a true comic book fan. But that is like
put that in there without having to go over the top and throw the Joker in there. Because what awesome thing would it be to have like an original masked villain?
Yeah,
that's going to be different to the origins that they're going with here, but still very important in the future of what
that's what I'm thinking. Is I think that they'll go that Red Hood route, like you're saying, but they're going to leave it kind of open ended, so that if the show takes off and ends up doing 12 seasons or something, they've got that card up their sleeve for down the road. They could be like, boom, by the way, Red Hood, that's the Joker.
Well, I just realized, too, in Batman Origins, in the video game that just came out last year, that he's in there.
The Red Hood
you play as the Red Hood at one point. There's, like a flashback scene. So his popularity might be a little bit more than what we think of now.
Still, it's pretty... That book, Killing Joke, if you're into comic books at all, you've pretty much read that book. I mean, that's if you're into Batman, at least... That's a
staple of fucked up.
yeah. So I'd be really interested. I hope they do it. I hope that they take that route and go and at least push it to Red Hood, if not all the way into Joker. I'd like to see him wait, 6 or 7 seasons before they really push Joker on us, because otherwise it's going to be like...
Yeah, I want to see him develop this comedian style, like, I mean, because realistically, there's no origins of the Joker other than that.
Mm-hmm.
That's I don't think there's ever been,
and it's never really been said that was completely canon either.
Right, exactly.
So we really don't know 100% for sure what the origin is of the Joker, but right now the number one most popular thing is Killing Joke origin of the Joker. Another big thing. Now this is some big speculation, but I thought it was interesting enough to mention. So, Hollywood Reporter, which is, I believe, a website, newspaper type of deal, is speculating that since Time Warner's Rupert Murdoch is withdrawing his $80 billion, that's billion with a B, $80 billion bid to purchase the Warner Brothers company, that there could be a possible second suitor to purchase Warner Brothers. And one of the interested parties is Disney.
Oh, God.
if Disney, who is a far more profitable company than Time Warner, I think it was something like 3 times as profitable. I can't remember the exact
Dude,
statistics.
they got their
But
pockets in everything, dude. Yeah, 3 times I think easy.
okay, so if this was to happen, if Disney was to purchase Warner Brothers, they would then in turn own the DC universe cinematically. Do you think that we would see some DC Marvel merger crossover cinematic events, or do you think they would keep it
See,
separate, or would you even want to see it
I don't.
crossed
I
up?
mean, dude, there's some. Obviously, there's characters that I would love to see like battle it out on the big screen, or some hero team ups. But I mean, think of all the comic books that they've had crossovers with, and how controversial they can be. Like, you know what I mean? You got the Marvel people that are like, oh no, um, you know, Hawkeye's way better of a shot than Green Arrow. You know what I mean, or vice versa, or whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
But I don't, or I don't think that. Well, one, I don't even know if they could do that legally because even though they own the rights to the cinematic universe, they still don't own the character rights.
They wouldn't necessarily own the character rights, but if they owned the cinematic rights to those characters, then it would, if theoretically, again, this is all completely conjecture, but theoretically, at that point, Warner Brothers, or I'm sorry, Disney could force the hand of DC and say, look, we want a Marvel DC crossover, and if you don't agree to it, we're not going to fucking make a movie for DC.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean,
I don't know if they
actually,
would go that far because they would end up losing money out of it, but I'm saying theoretically they could go that route and be like, you don't want to do a crossover like we want to do? Fuck you. We're not going to do it. We're not going to do any fucking Justice League movies. We're just going to do Avengers, and we're just going to keep pumping out the Marvel stuff, and that's that, and we're good to go.
Yeah.
But I mean, would you
man,
want to
dude,
see? Would you really want to see a cinematic crossover? I personally, I don't. I would rather keep it two completely different flavors. You know what I'm saying? I don't want all of my movies to be.
I would love to see, man. Like, could you imagine just like Superman wielding Captain America's shield or something? You know what I mean? Like some random thing like that. I don't know, like that, or Superman picking up Thor's hammer.
I guess,
but
but
it's been done in the comics.
My worries would be that they would do it once, and it would be crazy popular because the first thing that they would do would be Avengers and Justice League together, and it would be a huge, massive event.
But how much can you put into one movie?
Even if it's just the two of them talking, you know what I'm saying? Like even if it's just Iron Man having a discussion with fucking Batman. You know what I'm saying?
Fucking hooking up with Wonder Woman.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't matter how grand the scale is. That movie would do incredible financially. It would just crush the box office because everybody that's into comics or anything like that would want to go and see that for sure. The problem I see is that because that would do so well, that initial burst of like crossover, like this is going to be crossover,
like
they are going to oversaturate it. And every single movie, you're never going to see an Iron Man movie again. You're never going to see a Hulk movie. You're never going to see a Captain America movie. It's going to be Captain America and Batman, or Superman and Iron Man. And you know what I'm saying? It's going to be all muddled together so that it's going to end up. You know what I'm saying? I would rather have my choice of either a vanilla ice cream cone or a chocolate ice cream cone. I don't want every goddamn ice cream cone I eat for the rest of my life to be twist with half vanilla and half chocolate. I want to be able, as a paying consumer, I want to be able to decide, do I want to go see a Batman movie or do I want to go see, an Iron Man movie? I don't think that they would have the control over it to still have separation there. I think that they would be so driven by the almighty dollar that we would end up with just this giant muddled mess of nothing but short story type of crossover events rather than a long-term story, which is what we're getting out of the Marvel Cinematic Universe right now, which is fucking incredible.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, the direction that Marvel is heading right now, with especially with Guardians of the Galaxy recently, the future is looking very bright for comic book fans. And we're not going to get into Guardians right now. Next time we have all four people here, we're going to do a full-blown review and probably talk about it for a whole hour. But, I mean, what are your thoughts? I know I kind of just dominated the microphone there.
No,
so.
no, you're good. I mean, like I said, some parts of it really, like, I think it would be awesome because, like I said, when they have those crossovers in comics, they're usually pretty decent, you know. But do I want to see Spider-Man and Superman in a movie together? I don't think so. I think you're right. I think they would definitely oversaturate the market with it. And I'd be curious to see what happens to the animated cartoons. Because
that I would be more interested in seeing the crossover.
Well, I think that's where they can experiment it more. But at the same time, DC has amazing animated full-length feature films.
Mm-hmm.
Like Marvel's, not so much. The only one I've liked of Marvel's that I thought that's had rewatch value was Planet Hulk. And then there was the what was it, the Confidential, Agents Confidential or something like that. It had Punisher and Black Widow.
Yeah.
I watched that and I'm a huge Punisher fan, and I was like, this sucks. This sucks so bad. Like, why? Of all two people, like, I get it. You know what I mean? Like, they're both kind of like, you know, she's like the secret,
hitman, kind of assassin-ish, yeah.
He's all shoot 'em up, but no, it was horrible. Like, the new Batman, the Arkham Asylum or whatever it is, I have that, and I have not got to watch it yet, so I'm looking. I heard it's so good as far as like the Suicide Squad in it, and I think it's Assault on Arkham or
Assault on Arkham, I believe, is what it's called.
Yeah, I got that, and I can't wait to see it. I just haven't had time. Like yeah. I keep like looking at it, like, oh, soon I'm gonna watch this motherfucker.
I feel you. Okay, well, here's the next bit of news. Vin Diesel, as we all know, comic book fan, has been wanting a role in a comic book movie, and finally scored Groot in Guardians of the Galaxy, which had to feel a little bit like a letdown because of his lack of lines, basically. We'll get into that during the review, but he was incredibly, leading up to the Guardians of the Galaxy official announcement about him being Groot, the voice of Groot. He was extremely vocal through social media and Facebook and stuff about the fact that he was going to be playing Groot, or about the fact that he was going to be in Guardians of the Galaxy or in a Marvel movie. You know,
did he get the role as a joke? I thought, like,
I believe the way that it worked was he actually basically said that he was going to do it, or said that it was right for him or something like that, and he drummed up so much interest in social media about him being in a superhero movie that Marvel was like, fuck it, call him in. Let's cast him as something.
We'll make you a talking tree.
Right, you know what I'm saying? So, I mean, shit, whatever. Dude, get in where you fit in is what I'm saying. But the point is, now he is again taking to social media and being incredibly vocal about the fact that Marvel is interested in him being in a potential Inhuman movie. So I don't know much about the Inhuman series.
Yeah, we need Chris on this one.
But maybe we'll wait for Topher to get back and talk a little bit more about this. But I think it's awesome. I think that he would do a good job as a superhero, supervillain. Plus, the important thing is he is a comic book fan. And I think anytime you cast somebody in a role like that is a fan of the genre, they're going to put their heart and soul into it, and you're going to get a much better performance from somebody like that rather than, I don't know, the cast of the new Fantastic Four movie that have no fucking clue what a comic book even is. I think you're going to get a lot better performance. I think you're going to have somebody that it tries to stay a lot closer to the source material and tries to really pay it homage at the very least. I don't know. Would you like to see Vin Diesel in another role, or do you think that this would be
I think
too
it's
much?
a great idea. No, hell no. I mean, it is Marvel. I mean, they recast a lot of characters, recycle a lot of characters, or not, or a lot of actors for the same characters. I mean,
Now, do you see a problem? Do you see a problem if there was ever a potential Inhumans, Guardians of the Galaxy movie where they're both in the same movie and he has two characters in the same movie? Do you see a problem with that, or you think it's okay because one of them's Groot?
I think it's fine. I mean, one of them being Groot. I mean, I don't.
All right,
I
think
as long as they don't. I mean, it'd be one thing if it was like Riddick and then somebody else, and you know what I mean, where like it's noticeable.
yeah,
But I don't think that it would be an issue. I mean, I'm sure they've done that before, where they've had like CGI'd characters, you know what I mean, or mocap characters, and then they'd have the live character playing another role or something. I mean, I can't think of any examples, but I'm just saying there's got to be. I mean, as much as like budgeting of stuff happens, like we could shave a couple bucks off here.
Yeah, that's not a lie.
Maybe not to like that level of Marvel movies, but it's had to have happened, especially like in the '80s. It's experimenting with shit like that. I mean,
Now, in the last episode, myself and Topher had an at-length. I'm not sure if you got a chance to listen to it, Pirate, but we had an at-length discussion about Aquaman, and both of us kind of talking about who is Aquaman. I don't really know, like, what is Aquaman's personality, and we were talking about Zack Snyder took to the radio in an interview and said that Aquaman's a badass and his spear could actually pierce the flesh of Superman, and we talked about that and everything. And following up to that, I noticed a news article where it appears that Warner Brothers and DC are very serious about pushing forward with an Aquaman solo title. It hasn't been officially announced or scheduled, but it looks like this is going to happen. Like there's going to be a feature Aquaman movie. Warner Brothers has actually tapped two writers, which this is a really interesting scenario, and it kind of worries me a little bit that they're not 100% sure exactly what they want to do with the character. So they basically hired two separate writers to write two separate scripts. So they hired Kurt Johnstad and Will Beal both to write their own script. Now, I don't know if they said, here's what we want it to do, like here's the direction of the character, or here's the main plot line, or whatever. But they're both supposed to go out, write their own scripts, and then they're going to bring them back to WB, and the WB producers are going to decide which script to use. So it's definitely happening, it looks like. It looks like Aquaman's going to get his own movie, but it looks like they're not sure exactly which one they're going to do.
Which they do that a lot with films.
Yeah,
I mean, they have multiple scripts.
Right. So I like the choice of writers. One of the writers, and I can't remember which one's which, forgive me, but one of the writers is wrote the new 300 movie.
Okay.
What is it? 300 Rise of an Empire, I believe.
Yeah.
And then and some other work as well, obviously. And then the other writer had actually written a Justice League script that was a very prominent possibility, but got pushed to the side to do the Man of Steel reboot when they did Man of Steel. So it was basically between the Justice League script that ended up getting scrapped or pushed to the back burner and the Man of Steel that we actually saw, and Man of Steel won out. So it's between those two writers. So they both have experience writing, comic book genre movie scripts.
But I mean, only one actually went to film as far as of the two that you said. I mean,
That's true. That is true.
even production at that matter. You know,
Yeah,
whether,
that's true.
but
But we also don't know if the
he might have done other
Justice
stuff
League
too.
script may be what we end up seeing in the Justice League movie. We don't know about that yet either.
All right, all right.
So what do you think about a Aquaman movie? Would you go see an Aquaman feature length film?
Yeah, of course I would. I mean, dude, any comic book movie that comes out, whether it's, I mean, I'm gonna go see it. You know what I mean? At some point, I mean, it might not be opening weekend, but
I mean,
gonna
how
be,
excited are you for an Aquaman movie?
well, knowing that he's gonna be in the Justice League movie, I'm actually very excited because I'd like to see the lead up to this. You know, I mean, hell, he's gonna be in Batman v Superman, so I'm kind of excited that they're just kind of, even if it's a cameo, you know, in a pop little quick shot of him. I want to see which Aquaman they decide to use. Like, I don't know, like, are they going to do like the Justice League animated where he's, you know, loses his hand and he's got a, you know, hook for a hand type thing, and he's, you know,
Damn, Captain
invading
Ahab
with
style.
Atlanteans and stuff. Or like, how are they going to? I'm curious. How are they going to introduce him? Is really what I want to see. Like, I don't know. Is he going to be like this leader type that's just like, you know, a huge, like, you know, like control freak with like the Atlanteans, like, you know, well, forget the land walkers, you know what I mean? Like, they don't know, like, if they come at us, we'll destroy them. Or is he going to be like, you know, how Jeff Johns, you know, has him where, you know, he's half human, half Atlantean, or how did he write him in there? I'm trying to remember.
I'm not sure. I haven't read any.
I only
But
read I read the first year of this of Aquaman.
I think it's a good idea to do this because, like myself and Topher were talking about last week, neither one of us like. Okay, like if I say, tell me about Superman's personality or tell me about Batman's personality, like, you know, you immediately you can associate things with his
Aquaman's
personality.
been changed a lot. Like, there's several versions of Aquaman.
Right, that's what I'm
like,
saying.
And his personality. Like, they've tried, because it's always been a comic that sold just enough to keep people interested, but they always felt that it needed something different. You know what I mean? Something to try to push it over the top to get better. I think. I don't know. I could be wrong. But it always seems like, let's, you know, sales are slacking. Let's change him. Let's
Right.
make it more. And I think Jeff Johns really did a good job the way they made him. Because, I mean, honestly, I never was an Aquaman fan ever until I read the first series of the New 52 with Jeff Johns, his writing of it. Like, it was so fucking good.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, he's an incredible writer.
You know, it touched on the others, you know what I mean, a little bit. Like,
Yeah.
I actually had a lot of them towards the later part of it, but it is just, I thought it was great.
I think
Like,
it's like what you're saying with all the changes and stuff, and nobody can really easily identify who is Aquaman. I think it's important that they do this to establish who is Aquaman for the cinematic, you know, lead up to the Justice League or follow up to the Justice League, whatever. But so that you have a way of identifying what your feelings are about Aquaman, because I don't know. Like, I haven't, you know, I have no idea. Is he a badass? Is he bossy? Is he not? You know, like, it's hard to pin down. But
I mean, and also, how many times have we bashed Aquaman?
a lot,
Exactly.
a lot.
You know what I mean? I think
But
Brian,
that goes.
who stood up for him.
That's true. That's true. That goes across the board for most comic book fans. Will, you know,
Well, yeah.
he's one of those characters that will very quickly take the beating.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of people that are quick to throw stones at him for some reason. I don't really know why, but especially, we were talking about it last week. Not to dive back into that conversation too much, but we were talking about it in Justice League. I don't know if I still have it written down here. Justice League number 6. Aquaman actually stabbed Darkseid and drew blood. So, you know, that, I mean, that's saying something. You know, like, Darkseid is he's up there at that elite level of bad dudes. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you can hurt Darkseid, that's saying there's plenty of there's plenty of superheroes that can't even accomplish that. So,
True that.
just chew on that for a minute, if you will. uh, okay, now here's an interesting thing. This may be our last bit. I'm not sure yet, but okay, on eBay recently, there has been a gentleman who I'm pretty certain owns a comic book store and is fairly active on eBay that has posted a gem, you might say.
Oh yeah.
A crown jewel, if you will. It is a CGC graded 9.0 with white pages copy of Action Comics #1. This book started out at 99 cents for the opening bid. And within 24 hours, it hit $1.6 million.
It started off as 99 cents.
It started off at 99 cents and is at $1.75 million right now as
last time I checked.
As of when we're recording this. And I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon. There's like 21 bids, I think. Is what it looked like when I last checked it. What are your thoughts on this? I mean, how much do you think that this? Yeah, no shit. How much do you think this will go for?
I think your initial estimate when we was talking about it when you first showed it to me, I think it's going to hit over 3 million.
I think so too.
I think because it's got what, like 7 days left.
Yeah, it goes till Sunday the.
Well, you know what though?
I don't even know what date that is.
It might not. I don't know if it will hit over 3 million because it's starting to kind of crawl right now.
Yeah, but it's all those auctions, regardless of the price scale, is
the last minute.
I don't think this one's going to go to the last minute because I think anybody that's going to be willing to spend $1.7 million on something isn't going to leave it to chance of whether or not they can click faster than the last guy. But I think in the last 24 hours, we're going to see that price go way up.
In order to even bid on it, you have to be pre-approved. So you have to have so much money, apparently. For the way I read it, you have to deposit so much into your PayPal.
Holy shit.
Yeah, and they're only going to accept the bid once they confirm that money's in the PayPal.
How much do you think you have to put into PayPal to get pre-approved for like $2 million?
I don't know. I'm too scared to accidentally.
Dude, you have to put in there like more than my fucking house cost.
Yeah, it's probably quite a bit.
I don't know that I would want to have $1 million in my PayPal account. Period. Like,
I mean, PayPal seems to be pretty safe. It seems to be safer than
I guess, but you know, there's safe and then there's $1 million safe. Like,
well, I mean, anybody who's got the money to drop that on a comic book, I think
that's
too.
True.
I think a lot of people is probably looking for like joint purchases too, like something that big. There's probably a lot of people like putting like PowerPoint presentations together right now for like marketing sales pitch for like, hey, give me $500,000 and you could own part of this with me. You know what I mean?
What good does that do though? Like, what are you gonna like? Here, you can display it for 5 days, and then I'll display it for 5 days. Like,
that's like that one. That's like that. No, that's like that baseball card that Wayne Gretzky and the owner of the LA Kings went in and bought. It was like from the they used to put them in. I think it was tobacco, or something like that, or dip cans, or I can't remember what it was, but it was a Hughes Wagner.
I've never heard of this.
It's like $2 million card.
Is this the most valuable baseball card?
Yeah, it's like a Horace Wagner, I think. But it was Wayne Gretzky and the owner, I think, of the LA Kings went in and bought it when it went to auction in like the 90s. And I mean, so like a lot of people buy big memorabilia like that, and they go in and do that, so they can be part owners of it. Because it's an investment
here we
too.
Go,
if you ever resell it.
In 1991, National Hockey League player Wayne Gretzky purchased a mint condition 1909 Honus Wagner baseball card with a Piedmont cigarette brand back at the Sotheby's auction.
Took the card. Yeah, the card's so valuable because he was against smoking, and when he found out that kids were collecting the cards and it was coming out in cigarette packs, he didn't want kids smoking. That's why he told him to take the card down. And that's what makes it so valuable.
How much did he pay for it? Do you have any?
It was over $1 million. I think it was like almost 2 million. I think they put $1 million each in on it or something like that.
Are you kidding me?
Nah.
Halper sold that card and 200 other baseball memorabilia cards to Major League Baseball for at least $5 million. I'm not sure. I would be really interested to find out. I don't want to waste too much time on it, looking for it here, but I would be really interested to find out exactly how much he paid for that shit, because that is
I
crazy.
think each one threw $1 million in on it. I think it was $1 million each. And in 1991, you know,
that's a lot.
That was a big purchase, and I just remember it being in elementary school, like hearing about it, talking about it. Obviously, it's before the internets, but
I mean, it's talking about here where it's been sold for like 2.3 million, and that wasn't even to him. It doesn't even say exactly. I can't find exactly how much he paid for it, but yeah, that's crazy. How much would you pay for like an Action Comics #1?
Well, I mean, it's not how much could you pay; it's how much could I afford. I mean, I can only donate so much blood.
Well, right, but I'm saying like, you know, say you've got $20 million in the bank, okay? There's plenty of people in this country that have $20 million, tons of them. Mm-hmm. How much would you pay for an Action Comic? How much is too much for a 9.0 CGC graded Action Comics #1? Like, where do you draw the line in the sand? If you've got the money,
if I got $20 million, if I got $20 million,
that's all your money now. That's all your money.
And do I work? Do I have an income, or I'm just living off $20 million for the rest of my life?
We're gonna say you're living off $20 million for the rest of your life, just for the sake of argument.
All right, if I'm only living off $20 million for the rest of my life, I would probably, because I don't need much money to do anything. Really. I mean, obviously, you know where I work at, you know what I mean? So obviously I don't need that much money to survive. But if I had 20 million, I probably would. I think, because it's also an investment too. So if I ever get low on money, I can always resell it and guarantee
that's a valid point.
So I would probably, if I had 20 million to kick, I would go 5 million.
All right. I don't know if I would go that high.
Maybe even more, because I know that whatever I sell it for, or whatever I buy it for,
you could sell it for
get that selling it.
Yeah.
I mean, because it's a record item.
Because there's nothing else like it anywhere in the world. Most likely.
That we know of. Yeah.
I don't know that I would go 5. I mean, I want it. It would look real nice up here on the wall. Actually,
it would not be on the wall. It'd be in a fucking safety deposit box.
I'd put it on the wall for one podcast, and then I'd put that shit in a fucking Swiss bank account or some shit.
That motherfucker would look like the scene from Entrapment with lasers around it if I had it. I'd spend $5 million on the comic and another $3 million on security. Fucking have that bitch on armed guards.
I think I'd go 2. I think I'd go $2 million on it. Would be the cutoff for me.
The other ones sold for more than that.
I know, but that's just like
you wouldn't even bid on it. You're not even gonna get a lucky shot for $2 million.
I wouldn't. See, I don't think I would go higher than 2 though. That for me.
Yeah, you need to find a 5.0 graded then.
Like I would rather personally, I would rather have a Detective Comics. Was it 27?
27. Yeah.
First appearance of Batman at like a 9.0. You know what I'm saying? Like, I would rather get that.
No,
I think there's 24.
37.
No, it's in the 20s, I think. I can't remember. It's late in the day. I'm tired.
Let me go to it real quick. Okay.
Yeah, we'll do some quick searching here. First appearance of Batman. I'm pretty sure it's 27.
I'm having a brain fart. I thought it might have been 27 too, but
yeah, Detective Comics 27.
Yeah, 27. Yeah, you're right.
But
I
would rather have that one, I think. But that's probably just me because I'm a bigger Batman fan than I am a Superman fan. I'm not, it would be awesome to have that piece for historical reasons. Especially knowing that the Superman was created in Ohio, where we're from. That's pretty awesome. But I think I'd rather take that $5 million that you're saying you'd spend on that and imagine you could get so many other key issues, so many other first appearances of major characters that you could pull together
But here's
perfect
the thing: you're
copies
going to have
of.
to resell those to recoup your money. Should you ever want to do that?
Oh yeah, yeah, it would be a process.
Why not put it all in one get back? I mean, because like I said, it's an investment. It's not.
That's true.
It's.
That's true.
I mean, I wouldn't want to diversify my funds if in comics.
Dude, you gotta diversify.
You know what I mean?
Comics,
because like
nigga.
the shit drops quicker than fucking Wall Street. I mean, I don't know how many comics I've had that's been worth so much, and then all of a sudden, people forget about them or whatever happens, and then they just drop. Or like, look what happened with the digital age. Once the digital age came in, paper comics dropped so much, dude. Like it was ridiculous. Like
yeah, there's still been a couple that have been.
A prime example of that was in 1994 when I was in the Metropolis. I picked up the Death of Superman.
Yeah.
At the time, it was a $75 comic, black bag sealed, cherry condition. Okay, now that comic you can get at a convention for like $20.
Yeah, not worth shit.
Convention prices.
But there's exceptions to that rule too. You look at like Walking Dead #1. Man, you can't invest your money.
Who's to say that once the show ends or whatever, or the ratings drop and they cancel the show, that comic doesn't go down to fucking $300?
Oh, you never know. You never know for sure.
You know what I mean?
But
and then those guys going out spending $1,000 on an 8 or 9 point rated comic, which if the comic's 10 years or 14 years old, it's possible there's plenty of fucking 9.0s of that out there.
Oh yeah, there's a ton. There's a ton of them, especially since comic book collecting was already established by the time that first came out. What makes those Silver Age and those Golden Age comics worth so much in that good condition is because people didn't collect shit back then. They read it, then they passed it to their sister. She read it. She passed it to her best friend, and that person read it. And
they carried it around rolled up in a back pocket.
Right, that shit got torn up all the time. So to find one in that kind of condition that is almost comparable to how it came off the newsstand basically is just crazy. I was reading the story about, or watching, I think there's a video on eBay. If you guys go to the eBay auction, you can go and look it up. Action Comics #1, it'll be right there. But there's a video in there where he talks about the history of the book, and I guess the guy bought it and just, I don't know if he read it or not, but he stuck it in a cedar chest and just left it there for like 30 years or something crazy. And that's like, it would just happen to be in perfect condition for comic books. It was dark, it was cool, it was dry. So the pages didn't fade, the pages didn't discolor. It was just the perfect storm of conditions, and it just happened to sit there.
Here's what my question is on that comic, though. If you look at the photos that they've included on that auction, the front and back vaulted.
Yes.
But then it shows open pages.
Yeah.
So did they open that vault?
No. That was, I'm sure that those were taken either prior to the CGC grading or during the CGC process. Because you have to think, if you're getting a book of that kind of profile, that if that book has such a high amount of importance on it, and there's so few of them, that if you're submitting that to be CGC'd, you're probably going with the book to the place while they do it.
Yeah.
So you can see exactly what's happening while it I mean, you're not going to just send $2 million to somebody and say, hey, here, count my money. You're going to go...
I'm not going to fucking throw... Dude, could you imagine mailing that? I mean,
that's what... Exactly. Right, you don't mail that. You fly that motherfucker down in a briefcase that's handcuffed to your arm.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
looking like a motherfucking Agent Zero and shit.
Right,
dude.
right,
Fucking
for real. So I'm assuming that he probably got permission in advance. Like, hey, while you're grading this, when you have the pages open in a controlled environment and everything like that, can I take some pictures? Either for promotional purposes or whatever, memory, whatever, so that I can have them. And I'm sure that that's probably when they
Okay.
did it. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I assume, but I don't know when that they vaulted it either.
It
And,
was
like,
relatively recently, before this.
okay, because I was gonna say those fucking pictures look pretty fucking like mint for. I mean, if it was vaulted in the fucking like, 90s, I like those ain't digital
Well,
photos. Like,
CGC
no way.
wasn't even around in the 90s.
Oh, it wasn't. I thought it was. I thought
No,
it came out in the
CGC
90s.
was out around 2000, I think.
Oh, okay, that makes more
I
sense.
think. But yeah,
Have you
anyway.
seen their CGC and like what all you can get CGC
Oh,
rated?
it's all kinds of shit now.
It's now it's video game systems. I
Really?
actually seen a CGC rated Xbox 360 Halo
What?
3. No,
What do they do?
yeah,
In
Halo
box,
3
or
package
like do you send it to
in
them in
box.
the box?
Yeah, you send it to me in the box, and they vault the whole case, the whole box, and like it was like a 9.0 or an 8 point something,
What
and
the
it was they selling it
fuck?
for like $1,500.
Why? Why would I? Why? Who cares if it's mint in box? Like, what does that?
I have no idea. Like, but because I was just randomly looking at things online
Are
on
there
eBay,
people
and
that
I
are there
seen that.
people that pay for that kind of shit? Like,
Yeah,
is
they pay for it. Magic cards. Magic
well,
cards
no,
are
I get
huge.
that, but I'm saying like, are there
Yeah,
people out there that collect systems but don't play them?
I'd imagine. Yeah, there has to be
There's
because
no
I know
way.
I have a good friend. He collects all kinds of like video games.
But does he play them?
He plays some of them, but I mean the
That's what I'm
ones that
saying.
are mint in
Like,
box he resells. No, the ones that are mint in box he resells and collects, and systems and shit like that.
that's
Like he's got
fucking.
it playing games, but he's also got his shit that's like high dollar stuff.
I mean, I guess I can't really. I couldn't justify spending $1,500 on a console system, video game system that.
Oh, I couldn't either. But I mean, if you're a huge
I mean, I
Xbox
guess.
fan, I mean,
I guess it's the same thing as paying for a vaulted comic book. You're never going to open
yeah,
that
there
comic
you
book
go.
and read it, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. That's weird. But to each their own, my friend. So that's about it for this episode. Hopefully next week we will have the whole crew back with us. Yeah, that's about it. I'm Fox 2. We got the pirate.
See you guys.
See you next week.